What's going on, everybody? My name's Paul. Thank you for joining me here at All In today. So, as you can see, it's spooky season. It's October 1st, and you know what that means. It's a full month of my favorite time of the year, Halloween. It gives me a reason to, listen to as much horror as I want, watch as much horror as I want, play. This is my time of the year. Horror is my favorite genre. There's a lot of people that love your Christmas, your Easter, their birthdays and all that kinds of stuff. But that is not what I'm about. I'm about all things spook. And so with that, I want to be doing this new show where I come to you each and every week at the beginning, and it's called Horror Homework, where I talk about the best horror media that there is out there in my opinion. It could be movies, shows, games, books, pretty much any type of media or, piece of content that has to do with horror. It might even be like an album or something like that. Just whatever is really, I feel like I can't stop talking about, or my friends who are also into horror, like what's got us in the Halloween mood right now. So this week I'm going to be mainly talking about three things. I might also talk about a video game or two as well, but this week I kind of want to focus on the basics, just kind of ease you into your first week, because whether you're a horror buff or you're not really that much into it, I think these will be very easy to kind of like get your Halloween spirit started. I gotta find out. I gotta think of a name for this guy, and since it's horror homework, maybe I can make him look more like a teacher or something. Maybe put a pencil in his hand or a ruler. I don't know. I gotta do something. With the next episode, we'll hopefully I can build onto this more and more. But yeah. So what we're going to be starting with is a movie in this first episode. And we're gonna, like I said before, a movie, show, and a book. I have three things that I really wanted to talk about. Really wanted to make sure that, hey, let's start our Halloween off right. And these things, one of them is new for me, but the other ones are tried and true Halloween themes to me. When I think of Halloween, I think of this movie, Fright Night. Fright Night is something that I grew up watching. It is a movie about vampires, and normally I'm not really a vampire person, but this one I believe did it right. It came out in the 80s, mid 80s. I'm not actually sure what the actual year was, but when I was a kid, this used to come on, cable all the time, and something about it really drew me in. I feel like all the characters were so relatable to me. Like the main character, you really feel for him. His name is Brewster, and he just seems like a really good down to earth dude. And he was obsessed with horror. Like he loved that type of stuff. Now in the remake and stuff like that, he kind of starts growing out of it, but him and his friend had grew up watching this type of stuff. That's what they loved. And he is suspecting that his next door neighbor is a vampire. This is something that, you can't just go around telling people like, hey mom, I think this person's a vampire. They're just gonna laugh at you, and they do. Nobody believes him. Jerry the vampire, which is just a great vampire name, Jerry. I mean, like classic vampire name. Anyway, so Jerry is this suave, like very handsome, cool guy that just all the ladies love. Like they're super into him, and you are constantly seeing women go in his house but never out, and that's very suspicious to our main character Brewster. And so I really don't want to give too much away. I don't want to just sit here and tell you all about the movie, because if you've never seen it, I think this is something that you just have to experience. And honestly, I like I already said, there's a remake for it as well, but they feel different enough that I would say watch the old movie first. I think I still like it more than the remake, but for a remake, it's done very well. Normally, they always mess this kind of stuff up, but I actually really love the remake. I think Colin Farrell does a great job as the vampire Jerry. The casting is done so well, and it's so much fun, both of them. There is a Fright Night 2. I never saw it. It looked pretty bad. So if you did end up watching that, if you've seen these Fright Night movies and you actually ended up watching Fright Night 2, Let me know what you thought of that. I'm reading the comments. Let me know if that movie was any good. If you suggest that I should watch that, and maybe I'll talk about that in the next episode. Maybe that could be my homework. I don't know though. It looked kind of bad. But yeah, Fright Night is just something that you can put on even for people who I'd say it's good for the whole family, but maybe not. I'd say it's good for anybody the ages 13 and up. You get your kids together, or you just get your friends together, your girlfriends or boyfriends, like even if they're not really that big into horror. I think it's creepy enough that you can enjoy it, but it's not too scary to where it's going to run anybody off, and it has some great laughs in it. And like I said before, you are really just going to love the characters of this movie. Fright Night is great. Both like maybe watch Fright Night at the beginning of this week, and then at the end of the week you watch the remake or something like that. Kind of space them out, give them enough time. But yeah, I really do recommend it. I think it was 80s was some of the prime time for horror movies, and when I think of 80s horror movies, Fright Night is at the very top for me. It is one that ever since I saw it as a child, I have not missed it. There's not been a Halloween where I have not watched Fright Night. That it is a staple Halloween movie to me, and it is a lot of fun. It is so much fun, and it really, I was so glad when they made the remake that it was good, because I went to theaters to see this movie because I was like, oh well, I love the first one so much, I wonder how the remake's gonna be. And so I am just really happy with how they ended up making the remake. I think that it was somebody who, hey, I really have a lot of love for the original, let's do our own thing, but let's modernize it. And I think they did a great job. That's a great way for you guys to really start your Halloween. So yeah, Fright Night, highly recommend it. So go ahead and put that on your docket. Let me know when you watch it. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you like the old version or the new version better. I'm really interested in hearing you guys' opinion on that. Which one you like better? I think that's because I don't know if I can choose. I guess just because of the nostalgia, I'd go with the old version. But if you don't have the nostalgia, then maybe it might look a little dated. So maybe that's something that'll pop up. So you like the new version better. Plus the new version has David Tennant. You gotta love David Tennant. Like, come on. So anyway, so that was the movie. Let's move on to the show. The show is something that I had not heard too much about, but I did recently just watch, and man, oh man, I cannot believe, me being a horror buff, I cannot believe it took me so long to watch this show. I am ashamed of myself for how long it took for me to finally watch this show. It's called Channel Zero. They have either 4 or 5 seasons out right now. I'll be talking about mainly the first season because that's all I've seen so far, but I promise you I'm going to be watching the rest of the seasons because it's so good, and I hear it gets only better from here. But I'm gonna mainly focus on the first season, which is Candle Cove. Channel Zero is a show that came on Sci-Fi, and it was based on creepypastas. If you like horror at all, you know what creepypastas are, like Slenderman, stuff like that. That starts off as creepypastas, and this one was Candle Cove. And I'd listened to podcasts that talked about Candle Cove. I've of course read the creepypasta and stuff like that, and I always thought it was very interesting. And to see it come to life on a show was really just so cool. Like it is so well done how they did the Candle Cove, but yet they did their own spin. They took the bones and the meat of the story and added so much onto it that it made sense. This is the Candle, like in the story, it's a person who is retelling the Candle Cove from their childhood, which is this old pirate show that used to come on that hardly anybody knows about. It's only a select few number of kids that's actually even seen this show. There's something supernatural about it, and the show does such a good job at showing why. It's showing how the monster design in this show, they even show the episodes themselves. It's episodes within an episode. It shows the Candle Cove episodes that the kids watch, and it is so well done and so creepy. Now I will say it's not going to get you with a bunch of jump scares or anything like that. This is 6 one-hour episodes that really knows how to build characters that you care about. So if any of them die off, I'm not going to say if any of them do, you care about the characters. That you don't want anything bad to happen to them. But also it's a lot of like, is this person crazy? Are they not? It's just it's everything that I love from a horror show. And you can kind of tell, I will say that you can kind of tell, hey, this was made on Sci-Fi, or this is their first season, so it's not like, it's not perfect. But I do hear that the show, you know, because each season, like I said, it's season 1 is done. That storyline, they finish it. It has a beginning, it has an ending. Season 2, which I started, is a completely different thing, new characters, and I love that. That's something, so it's not like something that you have to keep watching like The Walking Dead. You can watch one season and stop. You can watch any of the seasons out of order, but I definitely recommend that you start with Candle Cove because, like I said, it does seem like it gets better from there. So going back might be difficult, but don't let me saying that dissuade you from watching the first season because it is really good. I like, again, not to spoil, but it does kind of show it on the beginning. They have this tooth monster thing, this monster that's made completely of teeth, and I have never in my wildest thoughts thought of something eating teeth, what the sound of teeth eating teeth sounds like, and it still haunts my nightmares. That is just, it's something that it makes my skin crawl just hearing this monster eat teeth. And you'll have to see. But yes, Channel Zero, it's a lot of fun. It's an easy watch, you know. And so, like I said, so you can watch it. It's 6 episodes. You got one for every day of the week. Boom, 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 boom. You could do an episode a day. You could binge watch it. You could, you know, like, it'll be easy to have this channel, this episode or this show knocked out by next week. Man, I can't. I'm almost at the point where, like, every week I kind, when I do these, you know, horror homeworks, I'm like, am I gonna talk about Channel Zero every time? I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not gonna say yes. I'm gonna try not to because I got some other horror shows in mind. But there may be some other weeks where I talk about Channel Zero. I just don't know yet because I really, really was very pleasantly surprised about how well they did it. It's just, it was really good. It was really, really good. So, anyways, I've babbled on long enough about Channel Zero. Let's get to our third piece of media. Our books media. I don't actually know if books are considered media. I guess I could call it horror content. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to call it horror media. I don't really know what else to call it. But this is going to be a book/movie tie-in. Sometimes I'm going to have that. Sometimes, you know, especially with like Stephen King books and stuff like that, you're going to have his books that are great that are turned into movies, which either the movie is going to be bad or it'll be good. Sometimes he has good movies that turn out, sometimes not. And so for the first one, it is going to be The Shining. We've all seen The Shining. If we like horror at all, you've seen The Shining. And so maybe, you know, you feel kind of shafted me talking about that, but I'm not talking about the movie right now. I'm talking about the book. We've all seen the movie, but have you read the book? Because at a young age I saw The Shining. I grew up watching The Shining, love it. But I had never read the book until pretty recently. It was a couple years back, and the book is so different than the book. The bones, like the structure is there, but the book, I think the book is a lot better than the movie. I love the movie, but Jack the father is made to be such a dickhead in the movie. Like, he's not really a likable character at all in the movie. To me, he's kind of a dick throughout. But in the book, it's not like that at all. Jack is a loving father who is an alcoholic. He's a recovering alcoholic. And so that's part of the horror, is him knowing that he has so much to prove to his family, that he is trying his best. He is doing everything he can to keep his family together and let them know, hey, I'm not the man that I used to be. I love you. I want to do whatever I can do to keep this family together. And that's actually why he takes, same in the movie, but the book, that's why he is the caretaker of the Overlook Hotel, because he needs the money. And it's like, and it's kind of good for him. He's also a writer. A lot of people have said that, this was during the time that Stephen King himself was battling with alcoholism and other things like that. So he sees himself in Jack Torrance. Like he kind of sees his own misgivings and things like that. And so when a writer puts himself into the story, him or herself into the story, you can really feel a lot more for the character because they feel a lot more real. They feel a lot more realized. And I think the movie lost a lot of that. But I will say, as far as the movie goes, it's still a great movie because it's so well shot and it is just very scary. To me, it's like it does horror right. But again, and books don't normally scare me. I don't know what it is. I mean, like sometimes scary stories do, but books themselves normally don't scare me. I was petrified the first time I ever read The Shining, and I'd already seen the movie, so I already knew what was supposed to happen. But this book terrified me. A grown man legitimately terrified me. I was sitting here reading this book, and when it was nighttime, it messed me up because there's a lot of stuff that's in that book that is not in the movie that they don't go over. And I like, it's so hard to talk about these things and not spoil it, but I'll talk about a couple things. So in the movie, he uses an axe. We know that, spoiler alert, but he uses an axe to kind of hunt his family down. In the movie, he uses a roque mallet, which is, it's kind of like a croquet mallet but smaller. And so there's something scary, like we see axes that's scary all the time. It's a sharp object, it'll cut us up. But there's something about a mallet that is just so nasty because you can really mess someone up, but you're not going to kill them right off rip. Like you hit somebody in the neck with an axe or something like that, you kill them. A mallet is more like torture because you were just mashing these people up. You were breaking bones. You were bruising, knocking out teeth. Like it is such a visceral weapon. And it is so, Stephen King goes into such detail with what this mallet can do. It is hard to read at some parts. Also, so not just the weapons that are used, but talking about the ghosts that are in the Overlook Hotel. So of course, Danny, the child, there's a certain room that he is not supposed to go to. That is going to be the most haunted room or something like that. And so in the movie, it does a good job at showing it. But I think in the book, the way it is detailed, it is just so terrifying. And the other thing, like, speaking of Danny, that's what makes this movie / book so scary, is one of the main characters is a small child. The child, they're set loose upon this hotel, really no supervision, and he just kind of has free reign, and there's nasty stuff everywhere, and he has to deal with that stuff himself. And he is a small child. He can't be any older than like 5 or something like that. He is a child. And it is just, if you're good at imagining yourself in a certain situation, then that you can imagine how traumatizing that has to be as Danny, and how traumatizing it is for the mother, the wife, who, when shit starts popping off, like, this is my husband, this is the father of my child, but yet he is not on my side anymore. I am wholly against him. He is against me. I have to protect myself and my child from this monster. The monster being the person that you love. It's just so gnarly. This is a great laying in bed. You have an hour to kill or something each night before you go to sleep. Read The Shining. I haven't checked out any audiobooks, though I do use Audible. So maybe this would be a great, you're just chilling, laying around, listening to an Audible. Next book purchase you get, I highly recommend The Shining. Like, this is something if you love horror, you owe it to yourself to read The Shining, because it's so well done, and I can't recommend it enough. Especially now would be a great time to read the book / watch the movie again, because Dr. Sleep is coming out, the long-awaited sequel to The Shining. Of course, the book has been out for quite a few years now, Dr. Sleep, and that was a really good book too. I didn't like it quite as much as The Shining. It definitely wasn't quite as scary as The Shining, but the book was very good, and I am very much looking forward to the movie. Oh man, I'm definitely going to be reviewing that one. I hope I hope I hope they do it right. They did a great job with Pet Cemetery earlier this year, so hopefully they can knock it out again with Doctor Sleep. I really pray they can do really good by that. So this is going to bring us to the final piece of homework. Video games are always weird because reading a book, watching a show, watching a movie is a lot easier than playing a game. Some people just don't like playing video games, and I get that. Some people have a hard time playing horror video games. I have friends who are like that, who love horror, but something about being in control of the character, you can't do it. And I get like that sometimes. Nothing makes me more nervous than a horror video game. But the one that I'm recommending this week is Resident Evil 2 Remake. This came out earlier this year, and man, I don't even know where to begin. They just really knocked it out of the park with this one. I used to love the old school Resident Evil games. I remember playing, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 with my cousin who came down from Orlando, and like I wasn't allowed to play horror games, and he had them all, and I would sneak off to my room with him, and we'd play these scary games. And it really resonated with me a lot as a child. These spooky zombie games where like you were not, and most of the games I was playing, like, you're a badass, but in this you're not. You have very limited ammo, you have very limited saves, you have very limited, health items, and everything is out to kill you. You don't have a lot of help. And so they did such a great job with the Resident Evil 2 remake that it doesn't even, they made it its own game, but kept the feeling of the original Resident Evil 2. This is something that I'm definitely going to be playing again now that it's the Halloween season. I'm going to be picking this back up because it is just something that it controls so well. The storyline is so fun, the gameplay's so fun, the spooks are coming at you hard and fast, because even though I played the game before, zombies and stuff don't really scare me anymore, but something about this game, like the boss fights and stuff, have me gripping my controller so tight. I'm like, oh my god. And this is the best the game has ever looked. Of course, I play it on PC. It's out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, so you can get it anywhere. And I know that on PC it runs fantastically. It looks fantastic. This is not something that they just slapped a coat of paint on and let go. They made a whole new engine for this game, and it shows. It is such a good game. If you are looking for something spooky to play, but not too long, because that's the other bad thing, is a horror game should never be too long. You want to keep it kind of trim, because you want to kind of get in and out. Because it's just, for me, it's too much stress anyways. I don't want some long sprawling horror game, and I think this is right at you can beat it within 5 to 8 hours, I believe. And plus, if you want more, there's always the B-sides, and you're either playing as I forgot their name, Leon and dang, Rebecca, no, not Rebecca, I can't remember, Claire. I think her name's Claire. I forgot the woman's name. I know you're playing as Leon, and I think it's Claire. I can't remember. But anyway, and each of them have pretty, not like it's not like you're playing two different games, but their stories and stuff are different enough that if you want more out of your experience, it's definitely there. There's a lot of meat for you to dig into if you want it there, and it's a lot of fun. And if you don't like playing, horror video games, watch a let's play of it. I think that the game is good enough that it would be entertaining to watch a YouTube video or a live stream. Hey, I'm going to be streaming it over at my Twitch, and then I'm going to be uploading it here over to my YouTube channel. So that if you want to watch me play and watch me get spooked out, I'm here. I'm your boy. I'll be right there. I'll be scared right here with you all over again. But so this is your horror homework for the week. We had Fright Night for the movie. We had of course the remake and the regular. We had Channel Zero. I specifically talked about season 1, Candle Cove. For the book, we had The Shining, and with the movie tie-in, I do recommend both. And for the game, we had the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I, again, highly recommend. Again, if you don't play games, I will be playing it over on my streaming, on my Twitch and here. But yeah, that I'm really looking forward to this Halloween season. Last October, I did not get to celebrate Halloween because we had a pretty devastating Hurricane Michael hit, and just I couldn't do anything. So this year, I'm looking forward to going all out with you guys. Um, you know, I'm just excited. Like I'm like a kid in a store. I didn't get to have my fun last year. This year, I'm gonna go all out. So please, please, please let me know what you think. Give me some suggestions. You can leave me a comment down below, but also I'm going to be linking my Discord so that you can jump in there, and we're going to be talking about this stuff in there. Come and talk with the other, the fans, the friends that are in there, and let us know what's your favorite part about Halloween, your Halloween candies and stuff like that. Let me know. I'll also be linking my Twitch down below so that you can come and check out when I go live, and you can see me playing these spooky games live and come get spooked out with me. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you for stopping by with me, hanging out, letting me be a part of your life, taking some of my suggestions, it really means a lot to me. I love talking about this kind of thing. So each week, like I said, it is going to be a little different. It might not always be this format, but there'll definitely always be movies, but sometimes we might have podcasts that we talk about, or maybe even albums. Like there's horror albums out there. So I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about next week, but each week, but I'm definitely going to have a lot of Halloween themed stuff for you. And hopefully, like I said, I can get him looking more like a teacher. Just maybe give me some suggestions of what you'd like for me to do with Skelly, Professor Bonehead, Professor Skeletron. We'll figure that out. Anyways, I've rambled on enough, guys. I really just appreciate you for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.